Encouragement. Question. What do you do when you wake up early in the morning and you don't have the motivation to get out of bed? What do you do to encourage yourself to get up, to get the day started and get moving? Because you know if you lay there, whatever needs to be taken care of will not be taken care of. What do you do? I ask this question because as a teenager growing up, I used to have depression, well, a form of mild depression growing up, just from life experiences, change, the things teens go through or whatnot. But at the same time, I had responsibilities to take care of. I had to get myself out of the bed, which was a bit of a drag. Many people can relate to this. I think it's been said anxiety and depression is like one of the number one top on the list, up there with like ADHD here in American society, because of everyday stressors and a lot going on, responsibilities and everything. In the past, I was given by a doctor Zoloft to help me, but it didn't last long. I didn't take it too long. I'm sorry. I didn't take it too long because I didn't like the way it made me feel. It made me feel real detached and disconnected from reality. I didn't like that. I figured I would try to find out a way how to get through it myself instead of leaning on those pills, because when you never took something like that before, you never really know truly at that age how to deal with the side effects. So anyways, I know people that haven't been diagnosed with depression. I know many of them actually still do, because it's only human to get down from time to time, to feel sadness from time to time, to not want to go about your day, just reflecting on life and knowing and understanding that a lot of times when you make plans for your life, things don't always go as planned. That's just a part of life. And with that being said, many people react to that differently. You got some people that they take on a fighter mentality when they don't get the things that they plan. They just walk around with a fighter mentality, like, I'm gonna make some stuff happen, whether it's that in another form or just something else. But they keep pushing, and then you got those that just fall by the wayside. They just don't know what to do themselves when they see that life is not going the way that they had hoped it would go. You got tragedy, you got death, you got sickness, illness, cancer. That's a sickness, illness. You got all type of things that come that seem like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, but some of those roadblocks are actually helping you. If you pray and you ask for something, I do believe in forms of prayer and whatnot, but if you pray and ask for certain things, sometimes tragedy comes, sometimes illness comes, sometimes roadblock after roadblock come, because remember, to gain anything great is to go through something which makes you fall first. See what I'm saying? If I say, oh, I would love to be a Michelle Obama tomorrow, or something like that, seeming we lived in a celebrity obsessive culture. If I pray to God all day and all night to receive that, then I have to go through many things in order to gain that. People miss that. Like, it be all type of things that be happening with people. They fall to sickness, illness, tragedy happens in their family real close to home, and they don't understand why that stuff ends up happening in their life. And sometimes it happens because they prayed for something 10 years before, You see what I'm saying? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but based upon life experience myself, it's like you can pray for something 10 years before and then 10 years later end up with it. But within that 10 year of praying and that 10 year of actually getting it, sometimes you actually have to go through tragedy, sickness, illness, all type of stuff have to come your way so it can prepare you. Because remember, to start at point A and try to go to point Z, you can't just go from point A to point Z. That doesn't work out. Because if you look for greatness today and you pray for it today and you want it today, your mind hasn't been prepared. Your spirit and everything hasn't been prepared to gain that. So you have to go through some type of loss and everything else in order to gain it. That's the way that it just works. To win is to lose. To lose is to win. It's a cycle. Life is a life cycle. So if I pray for something and I'm wanting that thing, and when I mean pray, I'm talking to the universe. I'm not really praying to Jesus or Allah or Buddha. I'm just saying I'm praying to the universe, asking. To ask is to receive. So if I'm asking for something, I can't just receive that thing. My mind has to be shaped and formed and altered in order for me to shape that, because in order to gain it, because in order to keep something like that, you must know and understand what it takes to manage that thing. You feel what I'm saying? Many people don't have the things that they want because they're not understanding that in order to receive greatness and keep it, you got to understand how to manage it first. You have to be primed and prepped, because if not, at the other side of that greatness could be bankruptcy. The other side of that greatness could be drug addiction. The other side of the greatness could be complete devastation, for your life to be left in ruins, which is why many people don't receive the greatness they think they are to receive, because they don't even know how to manage anything. Most of them don't know how to manage anything. How could you want great things but don't even know how to manage what you already have? That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't add up. So with me saying that, people like myself, I always use myself as prime example. I used to be depressed because I used to see certain people on TV and I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be like them. Because, like I said, we live in a culture of celebrity obsession. Celebrities are they're the beef of today. They're the meat of today. They're the meat and potatoes. Supposedly they make the world go round. So I wanted to be like that. I was like viewing things, okay, I see greatness, I want to be that. I wasn't thinking, back then I was a teenager, so I wasn't thinking of everything that went into it. I wasn't thinking of, Whitney Houston, what did she have to go through in order to get there? I wasn't thinking that. Most people don't think that. They just see stars, bright stars, starlight. A beautiful starlight that can sing. Oh, I want to sing like that. Maybe the world will love me, because you was really never taught self-love all like that. Your average person hasn't really been taught properly self-love or self-nurturance. So you see other things and people on TV that you want to follow, and then when that doesn't happen, then you just sink into deep, dark depression. Which is usually everyday man and woman. Unless they distract themselves with all type of things. But sometimes even the distraction only lasts for so long. So, with me saying that, depression. You see things on TV, which is advertising. And the advertising oftentimes make you feel and believe that what you have is not enough, and that you should be chasing more, and that you should be more, and that you should be wanting more. And it's just a cycle played over and over in most people's mind. And then while you're sitting there thinking, well, I wish I had this, maybe I should pray for that, while you're thinking that, then other people around you are getting more and obtaining more. Sometimes they're doing more to attain, sometimes they're not. So it starts to make you ask and question yourself, am I doing enough? And you got people out here that's actually doing more than enough, and they're still not receiving certain things because maybe it's not time, maybe it's not the proper season. The proper season could be 5 years from now. So instead of them thinking and pondering that, sometimes they just sit and question up and down till they question to the point of depression. They actually question themselves into depression, which is thinking too much, overthinking, overanalyzing. So depression comes in all forms: chemical imbalance. Some people, it runs in their families. A lot of times it's environmental. Some people sometimes had never had a history, or some people never had family history of depression. Sometimes it's just them hanging around the wrong people. What is the leeches is what I like to call them. The leeches, them type people, they just suck your energy. Every opportunity you trying to think of and ideal you trying to work and put together to put to use, they want to tell you how it's not going to work. Like, how could somebody tell you something is not going to work and they ain't even tried it? That type of stuff, what back in the day used to make me just not be bothered with certain people. Because me, I've always been like the intellectual type, just the type to think for self. I'm always deep into pondering free thoughts and thinking, how could this work? Plus, not only that, my personality type is an INTJ. So, you know what comes with the INTJ. We always in question of, will this work? Whatever I'm trying, will it work? If I go over here and I see, I don't know, it might be some type of machinery. It might look crazy as ever, but my number one question, many INTJs question is, will it work? Because that's the most important thing. It ain't how it look. It ain't how it sound. It is not about none of that. It's, will it work? Because with it working will be of a great advantage. Serves a purpose behind that. So, yeah, the leeches, you got to keep them out your circle. You got to keep them from around you, because them type of people, any type of creative, anything, I've had them around me before. And didn't even really know and understand because I was too busy in trying to see what worked and what didn't. Every time I would present a new ideal, many of them would say, oh, that's not going to work. Oh, you got to have this. Oh, you got to have that. Oh, you ain't. But the crazy part was many of the things that they said for me would never work, I had already done. That I just didn't tell them. That's crazy. Like, how could you just tell me something doesn't work and you ain't even tried it, and yet I have, but the only thing is I kept it a secret from you. See what I'm saying? Sometimes it helps to roll alone depending on the situation. Networking is good, having friends is good, colleagues, associates, whatever, but sometimes you need that free space to think by yourself. To think off to yourself, to question life, the question why is this. Sometimes I even question why you got people around you, the ones that doubt everything, which I believe for many people depression plays a part in their life for that reason. Because think about this, if I'm the type of person that know that life is always bringing me some type of hassle, headache, right, life will be life, the universe has no feelings. I feel like source has no feelings, the universe, whoever's power on earth, I don't mean a man, I mean like a energy source. I feel like that energy source doesn't have any emotion, so it doesn't feel. The universe might not actually feel the way that we feel. It just might be a vibration of positive and negative, but I really don't think that the universe feels pain. Many people don't question that. I think that the universe feels positive and negative energy because the universe feeds us positive and negative energy. But at the same time, I don't think that the universe feels happiness or sadness or pain or cries. I just think that all is a vibrational source, is what I'm trying to say. So when we suffer, when people say, why would a God or why would a universe let us suffer like this? I believe that's because the universe feels vibration, but doesn't really feel the pain in the way that we do. There's a connection, but a disconnect is all I'm saying. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, if you're trying to do things and you got all type of people around you that don't believe and yet you believe, what does that lead to? In the end, it leads to you suffering at the end of the day. Because as life will continue to drop things into your lap that you're not looking for, that can cause you somewhat pain or headache or feeling distraught. Usually humans thrive on thoughts of survival, as in finding a way to get out of the situation. It's only human natural reaction to find a way to get out of a hole. Because if you didn't have that type of survival tactic that was built in the back of your brain, then you would die. Some people may doubt me on that, but I just think that is human natural reaction to, you drop in the pit, you find a way to climb out of the pit. Everybody's doing it every day. They're just not realizing they're doing it. So with me saying that, you drop in the pit one day, you got all these friends around you that you've been cool with for years. Some people have been cool for 18, 19 years, but you keep noticing the same trend. You drop in the pit, you tell your friends about it, they agree that you're in the pit. You realize, okay, maybe I can climb out of this. Maybe I can try this. Maybe I can try something new. And what do they say? No, don't think it will work. Why? Because you guys been friends for so long, which means that you're like-minded individuals. There's a high connection of commonality there, and they don't want to see you do anything different than what they've been doing all their life, so they try to talk you out of it. They figure, well, we've been in the pack this many years. They're thinking in the back of their mind, if you try something new, then it might actually work, and you might actually try to separate from us, and you might just leave us behind and go and join some other group. So they just help keep you down in the struggle where they're at, instead of saying, you know what, that might actually work. But they don't. They just feed you lies that they tell themselves, which in the end ends up leading to depression. And people don't even look, they bypass that. There's many people all across the US who, they keep the same people surrounding them. They never change. They never try to meet new people. They never try to try anything of new value to give them a different perspective on the world, because they're so used to what they're used to. Humans are always used to what's familiar, and sometimes familiarity could actually lead to death instead of bringing you life, because familiarity breeds just the same old thing. And when you wrap your brain around being in the same old thing, in the same old pit, you can never see light, which I just spoke in a circle, which is what life itself is. It is a life cycle, a life circle. People miss that open view. You must always stay open. The more open you are to new ideals, new thoughts, new feelings, new situations, the more brighter you will feel. And not only that, it enhances your thoughts on helping you get out of situations you were stuck in. Because if I see a situation that I've been going through for the same 5 or 6 years, and I keep going through that thing, that means I have not learned the lesson. Or maybe I have, I just don't want to face it, and I'm just settled, comfortable dealing with that situation. Or maybe it just, I feel that it is the way that it is. Maybe some people feel like that's their lot in life, given by a God or given by a source. Like, this is my lot in life, and this is all there is to life, when that's not necessarily the truth. you have an open mind, you can look at that in a whole different type of way. See it in a different realm. Drug addicts, people who have drug addictions, they might be cracked out on some type of drug. They got a whole bunch of friends surrounding them. The friends is reminding them, this is all there is to life. This is what God... You got people that will tell you God wanted you to be cracked out. Like, how is that the truth? Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't judge anybody, so kind of like whatever. I'm just using an example. So you're cracked out, you wake up to your crack, and then you go to sleep to your crack, and then you start the next day over again, and then your other cracked out buddies, they're like, okay, this is not the best life that we've ever had, but in a sense, for them, they might feel that's the best experience, because remember, a high equals high experience. So, but when you come down, I guess it's a whole different thing. I've never been on drugs like that, but I know people who have. So, you're looking at this situation like, oh, me and drugs. I would love to get away from drugs because something about this experience just leaves me dark. And it leaves me hopeless. And I know that I could have more. I know I could attain more, because when I walk out my front doors, all type of people that pass me by every day that have more. And they look like me. They might be the same color as me. They might, whatever. They might talk like me. If you have had a conversation with whoever that you pass by on the streets. But you just see that the one thing that we have in common is being human. So humanity as a whole, you're like, okay, you're a drug addict, and then that other person you're seeing, they're not, but you know we all bleed the same. We all cry tears the same. We all breathe the same. We all can be vocal the same. And I mean your vocal cords vibrate. We all hear the same unless there's a loss of hearing. We all have vision the same unless there's a loss of vision. We all have skin, which is the same, which our skin might be of different shades, but it still is a protectant to protect your organs and your bones and everything. So you know that there's commonality there. So you being a drug addict, figure, well, maybe there could be more to life for me that I haven't seen or experienced. But because you're surrounded with certain people, the other drug addicts, that see no way out, they're just feeding you that same thing like it'll never happen. Whatever you're trying to do on the other side, that will never happen. You might actually die. You can't survive without drugs. And little do they know, they don't know what could be on the other side for you. It could be anything. It could be something of greatness. You could actually end up being one of our future presidents. Nobody knows. And this is why people a lot of times struggle with depression outside of their own inner thoughts, outside of their own inner world. Because we do have a inner world within. Right here, our inner world is there. As well as what we allow to come in plays a part in our inner world. So people don't understand a lot of times. Sometimes depression begins on the outside. Because remember, we're all born with our own thoughts, feelings. And then we're placed in environments with other voices around us. And those voices fill up and to take places within our inner world. And they begin to replace messages in which we tell ourselves. So if I feel, oh, I'm beautiful, oh, I'm lovely, oh, I can touch heaven. Along the way, you meet people, they're of lower energy, and they don't feel that about themselves, so they turn and tell you what you are not. Oh, you ain't this, oh, you ain't that. You'll never be this. Oh, you'll never be that. It's because they feel that way about themselves. And as you allow them to embed that within you, their inner world starts to take over your inner world. And you start to lose yourself. You start to lose grips on reality of how you feel about yourself. Because before you became in contact with them, you were on top of the world already. They just came to shoot you down. People miss this. I feel like that's one of the number one things that people miss. You can meet so many people in your lifetime. Over a lifespan, you meet so many people. And if you're not protective of your own energy, you'll start living within the realm of other people's energy, low vibrational energy. And you become them without even realizing. I think that's very sad. And I think for me, when it comes back to the discussion on depression, I think that was what my issue was. I remember when you was a kid, you were little, and you didn't have no stress, you didn't have no fears, you didn't have no worries, you didn't have anything to think about. All you wanted to do was just play and dance because it was like so much fun. Like childhood was like the most favorite thing just in itself. Just the word childhood. Childhood is just that, being a child, being everything which defines the word child. Everything. Exploration, science, everything. Doing a Michael Jackson moonwalk, whatever you could think of, painting on the wall, using crayons on your mom's bedroom wall, all type of stuff like that. There was times when you were younger that you didn't care about the world. You didn't care what was going on. You just would lay up all night and stare at the sky out the window or stare at the ceiling. You were just captivated. You didn't think about the future. You didn't think about the past. You were just completely free from that. You weren't tied. You weren't no slave to anything. You didn't think about material things, or maybe you did, the house you wanted or car, whatever. But you were just living for the moment. Everything was all about the moment. Just exploring everything around you. Everything just was minute to minute. And each minute you breathed in and out was another minute that passed away. But you didn't realize it because you were having so much fun. Then as you got older, you realize there's adult responsibilities. Right? I think that happened somewhere around, for many of us, it was around like middle school. Is that, I don't know. Is that like junior high? We called it junior high. We're on the East Coast. Junior high and high school. It's like over time, the whole childhood imagination, using your imagination to its full capacity, it just started to flow away. Then you start to be around other kids your age that they were being introduced to responsibilities like you. And the interest of using your imagination just became lost. That's what happens going through the stages of life. Everything has to learn and grow. You're a child and then you grow up. Just because you grow up doesn't mean that you just completely get rid of your feelings of wanting to be a child. You can be grown and do what's considered childish things. Watch cartoons, play video games. I think it's important for you to have like a inner child, even being an adult, because when certain things happen, tragedies, death, sickness, illness, stuff like that happens, you have to reach back into childhood. You have to have some type of something to hold on to that is a part of being a child. You have to keep that there. That way, that provides you with an outlet. It provides you with turning internally away from the external, it provides a momentary moment of disconnection of what is happening in reality so that you can heal. Because sometimes being too involved outwardly with other people's problems or other people's devastation or other people's there's people out here that actually built their own hopelessness. That's their focus. That's all they want to focus at, and they don't want nothing else. They don't want you to tell them to not be focused on a brighter future, nothing. They would rather remain hopeless. So sometimes when you get involved with that, all that does is set you backwards, and it makes you feel hopeless. So in order to separate yourself from that, I feel that it is important to have things that you do outside of that, which is cultivating your inner world, going back to childhood, painting, cooking, drawing. Some guys like fishing, having a boat fishing, skydiving. I mean, it's adult activities, but at the same time, the joy in it is the childhood feelings. You gotta have some type of escapism from everything that's going on, because if you let the world take you on for what it is, which is reality, if you don't have any type of form of escapism, you'll just spiritually die out. And that's the truth. You'll just completely die out, because there's too much going on around you all at one moment. Somebody down the street is getting in a crash. Somebody somewhere is getting in a plane crash. Somebody is being raped somewhere, being taken advantage of, being a sex slave. Somebody is being still sold into slavery. It's a lot of things. Some people's babies are being born right now with cancer. It's just too much stuff. And if you absorb all that into your head space, you absorb all that within, it will lead you to a point of really wanting to kill yourself. People in the past have felt like that. Personal experiences are everything. They make you what you are. They help you learn and understand what you can and can't take. Some tragedies, all type of things come into your world sometimes to show you who you are. Are you strong enough? Are you built to survive, or are you built to die out? Are you a die-hard battery, or are you just a energizer that was kind of born defective in some ways? So you gotta have some form of release outside of what we see in this everyday room, because it gets deep. It gets very deep. If you know and understand what makes you feel depressed, what makes you not want to get up in the morning, what makes you not want to take a shower, what makes you not want to eat, what makes you not want to face the next 5 years from now, once you understand what that is, then you're able to deal with it. You're able to slowly make a step forward into trying to be a better person, which you already are. But you're able to make, steps to see why you feel the way you feel, why you think the way you think, why you feel that there's no hope at times, all that. And a lot of times it don't even have anything to do with you. A lot of times it's messages that were presented from outside of you. A lot of things in the ways that we think, like I said before, are presented from outside, and you just happen to carry it within. A lot of times it's lies that you believe. You feel, if I was this, then people would love me more. Oh, if I had this, then people would admire me more. And oh, if I had, if I wasn't like this, then people wouldn't walk away from me, when that's not really the truth. Is people out here that will love and admire you just for you being you, just for you breathing. Got what I'm saying? So, when you stop letting all these random whispers come into your headspace, you will be able to think more clearly. When you get quiet and have times of meditation and have times to be alone instead of flooding your space with everybody, you'll be able to think more clearly. You will see a lot of things for what they are, which is opportunity in place of hopelessness and negativity. The more time you spend by yourself, not all day, but the more time that you take out to spend by yourself, the more you will see how good things really are. Because sometimes you can't really see how good things are until you're forced to be by yourself and you look outwardly. You peek out while looking within and thinking, man, I actually got it good. You're not listening to somebody standing next to you that been standing next to you for the last 18, 19 years telling you, oh, we don't have this, oh, we don't have that, oh, we not this, we not that. See, them type of people I can't be bothered with. I can't have them in my space, because a poor mentality only leads to poverty. You got what I'm saying? You can't build anything with a poverty mindset. You can't build anything with constant doubt and defeat. It does not happen. You got to get to a point and place of thinking, if I just try this today, I wake up today and I'm down. If I just try to get up and I try to get in the shower and I try to do my hair and I try to go out and I try and face the day. When I come home tonight, I try it again tomorrow. Same thing. I might do that for a week, leads to months. After about 6 months, then I'm going to try something new. Of course, take a shower, but I'm going to try other things outside of that. Sometimes it takes up breaking out of your routine as well to keep you supercharged. Sometimes a routine can actually help you stay in a level of being comfortable. It leads to being stagnant, which also leads to hopelessness. Sometimes it takes switching up your routine, trying things from a different, like left field, going out left field, just to see. Because I'm the type of person, I really don't like routine. I was raised on it, but I really never got adjusted to it. Because for me, ideals and staying fresh and preventing myself becoming burnt out, I always have to try things from a different angle. I might do something for, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, and then I gotta switch it up. That's just how I am. It seems like I stay in balance like that. My body can only balance itself based upon me switching up. I can't do the same thing constant day in and day out. It doesn't work out. After a while, I'll just start to feel hopeless, like I'm just a hamster on a wheel going around just staying in one position. So in order for me to stay fresh, I'm always switching up stuff. So basically, in the end, you are what you think, you are what you feel, you are what you realize. There's more to this life than you probably have been presented with. The only way you're going to find out is if you go out and you find out. And going out is basically going within. Going out to find yourself is going within. It's a cycle, just like life. Life is a cycle, just like this. Everything moves around. Live and die. And evolve. That's all it is. Never let somebody tell you what your value is. Never let somebody tell you who you are. Never let somebody tell you what you are capable or not capable of, because they never lived your life. They were never purposed to live your life. They're on their own path. Best thing for you to do is to stay in your lane. That's the best thing. That's the only way you can really better yourself, is if you really understand yourself. And especially in business or any type of thing like that, it starts with you. You're number one. You started. You're breathing. You're breathing air in and out. You're moving around. You're moving about. You put yourself in motion. You are your best asset. Just like I said, your brain is your best asset. I can't even get my words right. I'm stumbling over my words, probably because it's starting to get dark and I keep looking out the window. So, you are your best asset. Just like your brain is your best asset. Your body and your brain. You're walking around. Your feet does the walking. Your brain does the thinking. If you get in a situation, you can get out of a situation. If you feel that there's no hope, gotta flip that around. Flip the Rubik's Cube. There's always hope. There's always ways to get out of things. Some people, they have to take medication to balance their brain out, and yes, that is normal. That's a normal thing. If you need medication, then you take medication. Some people gotta exercise. Whatever you gotta do to bring yourself up. If you gotta cut ties with people that you're growing, allow yourself to grow. Don't stagnate yourself and stunt your growth based off of somebody else not realizing your potential. Because we're all out here to do better and brighter things. But I think that's all I'm gonna say, because this video is like really long. So, depression, there's always hope in that. Gotta believe, gotta walk with the sun, gotta chase within, gotta be yourself always.